Hi, Chris Wrigley, independent agronomist, and we're here today with SaferGrow's chemist, Martin Edwards. So much play has been made by SaferGrow in terms of product innovation, and one of the launches of that innovation is the Aloy range, and we're here this afternoon to talk to Martin about the concept behind the Aloy range and where it originated from, what the thought processes were. So Martin, just start me off now talking about how you developed the Aloy range and what sort of thought process you went through.
Well, we got the 500SC, the viscology product, and when talking to farmers and other people out in the big wide world, someone mentioned the fact that the government's legislation or guidelines was that you cannot put manganese on until you see signs of manganese deficiency. Mm-hmm. Well, it struck me that the SCs, the 500SC, is really not a curative thing. It's something that's preventative. You have to put it on beforehand, be proactive, not reactive with it, because it takes a longer time to react. So then I thought, well, is there any way we can combine the two? So we combine a soluble portion of the SC with the insoluble portion, so you get the instant build up and the instant green up, and then afterwards you get a long-term delivery, slower release on the manganese side.
Okay, so it's two-pronged attack really. One is you're trying to rectify the deficiency,
yeah,
and secondly you need longevity to keep that that curative property of the SC going for longer.
Sure, and to reduce the farmer's spray times, number of times just to go in the field.
Oh, well, I mean, that's the point, really. The benefit of it is that you get a quick kick and then the grower goes into the field less times. That presumably was the start, yeah. Okay, so the mixture of these two products, yeah, there's manganese sulfate in there, that gives you a quick fix.
Manganese sulfate.
Right, and then the longevity is provided by
manganese carbonate.
Manganese carbonate. So there's two distinct differences in the chemistry there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then according to the solubility of these two products, how is that rolled out into product formulation? Because you make big play, Martin, that the formulation and in a bottle and all the rest of it is. So just explain that for me.
Well, you can dissolve the sulfate into the water phase of the SC, but until you actually do it, you don't know. You could have, theoretically, you have the advantage of the SC, which means it can be tank mixed, coupled with the instant knockdown of the sulfate. Mm-hmm. But until you actually make the thing, you don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
And so you deliberately keep the manganese sulfate, the soluble part, lower, simply so that you don't get the tank mix incompatibilities you get with the sulfate. Because
I've actually seen the product. It's almost like a mousse in its.
Oh, sure. That's the viscology, which is in the 500SC as well. It carried over into the Aloy concept as well. So we didn't lose that, again, probably because we've got a lot of the insoluble carbonate in there with a small portion of the sulfate.
Right, okay.
So the sulfate didn't affect it.
Okay. So can this technology be transferred to other metals, other trace elements, magnesium, copper, etc.?
We've now, at this point in time, at some stage of development, some are finished, some aren't. We've got 5, 6 of them on the go now, working on the same principles. We've got manganese, we've got magnesium, we have a sulphur, and we have a calcium coming on and a zinc coming on.
Right,
both
okay.
which are on test.
Okay.
And we're hopeful for.
Right, but I mean the important thing
to... Copper, sorry.
On the copper, don't forget the copper, quite important. Are these mixable together? In other words,
yes,
are they compatible?
Again, the surfactant system we use in the making the SCs is the same in all of them.
Right.
It's a specific surfactant system that I've developed, and they're all compatible. They're all the same surfactant system, so they're all mixable.
Right.
They can all mix with each other in the technicals, as the concentrates, or in the tank mix.
Right, so we could, for instance, have a manganese copper alloy.
Yes.
Co-formulated?
Yes, yeah. I mean, you can, or the other side of the concept, you can say to a farmer can come in and say, well, I don't really like your ratio of mix, like 4:1, I'll say, with manganese to copper. I prefer I don't know, 5 to 2 or something like that. And you could say, well, you have 2 bottles of this and 5 bottles of that, and you can make it yourself.
So it's tank mixable from the farmer's point of view. Okay, now then, given that we're at the stage now where these products have been developed, presumably there's some stood in a bottle somewhere ready to go, what about the you know, pre this event, what about any testing that's gone off?
Well, we have got field trials out there, obviously,
yeah.
with the manganese to start with this year.
Yeah.
And we've tested it at STC.
That's the Stockbridge Technology Centre. Yeah.
Technologies. We tested it there, and we have some very, very good results against the existing manganese 500 that's out there, and the manganese sulphate and the alloy.
Right.
And the results from that will be available next month. I think we're going to harvest, we're going to crop it next month.
Right, okay.
But all through all the tests, they've been taking leaf samples and assessing for green up and what have you.
Right,
so,
okay.
It's very, very promising.
But this trials programme will be continued with the other alloy range, presumably?
Well, we hope so, yes.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, I've been lucky enough to see the trial, and I await the results of that further down the line, but also I'm interested to see some of the other range go into the same trials platform, so that'd be good.
But moving this on even more so, there's this possibility of seed treatments and putting it. There's many options that you can have with just the basic building.
Right. Well, I mean, that's an area, Martin, that I'm interested in because, as you're aware, I'm looking at applying these materials at drilling, which is not necessarily a new concept, but the way we actually do it with the apparatus that we use, it's fairly novel in its own right. So I'm quite interested to look at this range in conjunction with other products to be applied at drilling onto the seed and around the seed as it falls in the soil.
I'm a great fan of that. In a past life I was involved with that with a potato cyst nematode, so yeah, I think that's a great way of going.
Yeah, well, we're still doing ongoing tests, but it looks very, very promising for the results we've seen. So I look forward to using some of the alloy range through that system, and I'll keep you abreast of what goes on. That's good. Thank you very much for your time this afternoon.
My pleasure.